All right, what is up? Another good but long and boring trading session today. We had a long session. It took a while to get a setup. But real quick, anyone that's keeping up with the funded account, we started a new one and we've been doing all right. So this is the practice that I mess around on. I don't really mess around. I try and take good trades, but I definitely take more than one trade a day, and I trade different concepts sometimes. But my actual, the 50K combine, as you can now see, we are up. We are now up $924, which is cool. But it really doesn't matter to me, right? I used to get a lot more. It used to be hard to get to $900, but it's because I risked a lot less, and I traded a smaller size. There's a lot of reasons why I'm at this total a lot quicker, right? It has nothing to do with, it's nothing crazy, right? It's not 900 real dollars. It's just $900 in the eval. We've just hit our trades, right? That's just all we've done. Again, yesterday, no trades. We had a $85 day on one of the days, 300 something, 100 something, and then 300 today. So 924, but that does mean that we are right around $2,000 away. So if we just do this again twice, we pretty much funded. So that's kind of cool to see. And just the breakdown, we've only traded 4 days. They've all been green, which is why, again, I like the quote, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. So we haven't been punched in the face yet, so it's going good. It's smooth sailing. How are we going to react to a losing day? Are we going to be able to stick to one trade a day? As you can see, it says 4 trades here and 5 trades here. That was due to, if you watch the videos, I went over why we had extra trades on those days. Also, I was taking partials with micros. I was taking partials in different spots, and it kind of messes up the amount of trades. But today we had 1 trade. We are done. And we were also on vacation these 2 days, so I was a little bit confused on the new TopStep X platform. I think I have it all figured out now. I think we're kind of dialed in on this on that end. And now hopefully smoother sailing, and we can just keep coming up with these wins, right? One thing I do want you guys to notice is that this was less than 400, which is why I risk, and I'll go over that. And also I'll go over why I'm not always exactly risking 400, even though I try to. That's just kind of like, I don't want to lose more than 400 ever on a trade. I try and risk as close to 400 to get that 1-to-1, but again, we have fallen short of those $400 days, which is fine, right? Because each day is a different event anyways, right? So yeah, but 924 is pretty cool to look at, but again, it's just a number. It has nothing to do with anything, and it has no relevancy to tomorrow or the next trade I take or the next trade I take. It does not matter in any way. I just thought I'd go over for anyone keeping up with my trading on this account. So we'll get into the stuff I saw going into the day. I think we'll chart on the. I think I want to chart on the actual trading view. It's just a little bit cleaner. Or what does this look like? This looks good. I'll use this since I have my annotations already out. I'm gonna switch over to the 150K practice just in case we place an execution on accident, covering all our bases. So going into the day, I was loose biased. I was actually a little bit more bullish than bearish, and you might be wondering, we have a big sell-off. Why would you be bearish, or why would you be bullish? And the reason is just purely, I've been saying that I think we're drawing in a bigger time frame market maker sell model. Again, I highlighted this the other day and said I thought this was the original consolidation that we are now targeting, which I still believe. And now we can get rid of this target. But I didn't expect this to be, and wow, we're about to take out this level too. So we're getting within, we're about, come on, that's not working. We're about 100 points away from completing this model, and then I don't really know what I'll be looking at the target. But again, the reason being is I was bearish on the higher time frame. Yes, we had this 4-hour fair value gap up here. We just inversed, and this is something I want you guys to realize that's pretty important, is we just inversed this daily fair value gap and these daily ones, but we also broke structure underneath this low. As you can see, we broke structure on the daily for the first time in a long time. Look, We didn't break structure on this move down. That was just a retracement. We didn't really break structure on this, even though we kind of did technically, but it's not a proper break of structure with this placement. The last time we broke structure to the downside on NQ was on April 15th. So in April, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So about 3 months ago was the last time we broke structure. And notice, after we broke structure, we continued to drop another 700 points. We ended up sweeping out a lot of liquidity. Down here, we end up sweeping all of this low resistance liquidity. We finished the sell model by sweeping all those lows, right? And then we obviously expand higher because the market historically will go up, right? Unless we're in some financial crisis. We're not just gonna, we're not in a sell model. I'm not expecting the drawn liquidity to be these lows down here, right? Like that's just very unrealistic to expect that we're drawing down there. But what isn't unrealistic is to expect us to have a significant pullback, which was around 1,000 something points, which we've already kind of covered. That's why, again, this target after this happens, I don't have any idea how much further we are going to go, because it's kind of the furthest target I could have really expected. But now we are getting some really cool stuff happening on this daily chart. Is if you notice this blue line, I go into the blue line and it's perfect equal highs, and I'll go over that because that was part of the bias today. Anyways, that's why I was bullish going into the day, is because we just hit a major sell side level here. We had this bullish fair value gap we were holding, and I was expecting us to retrace to equilibrium of at least this move down, at least this move down, and by the very least this leg down. If you notice on the 1 hour, we have no green candles, straight down candles all the way down to here. So I was at minimum expecting or wanting to see this for any short positions on the higher time frame that makes sense. Again, intraday changes, and it doesn't have to be exactly to your game plan intraday, but that's why I was kind of bullish. I was expecting bullish order flow to then do that. Again, so that's why I was a loose bias, but overall in the bigger time frame, I've been saying that I was bearish, so we get bearish structure. Zooming in before the market actually opened today, which was around, market opened around here on this big sell-off candle. But before that, we had Asia low here, which got swept during London session. So we swept out this low. We had a high put in from here that we've been respecting bearish order flow. We finally disrespect these imbalances, and we swept liquidity. So I was expecting us to be bullish and take out this high, and then maybe we get the reversal. I did not expect we actually leave exact equal highs. This high and this high are the exact same. So that became a kind of point of interest for me to maybe look for longs or shorts on later. And that will become a target in the future. I almost can guarantee it. Maybe tomorrow, maybe not. Given that tomorrow we might run this low, we might not have any trade tomorrow. I might just take the week early and paper trade. But that being said, we had this low as well, which was a sell side target going into the morning as well. So we were kind of in this range. I was waiting for something to happen, and I wanted to see a deeper pullback than go long, short. So dropping down again, we had a interesting open to the morning. So we come out. And we put in the equal highs, we sell, and I was expecting maybe that we'd hold some type of fair value gap here, maybe sweep this low, and then come up and take these equal highs. That was kind of my goal, but we never end up getting to see the equal highs get reached. And the price action was kind of interesting today. We kind of had cool price action. If you can notice here, we sell off and we're just holding bearish order flow. We come down, we put in an SMT here. We sweep the low this sweeps the low and ES doesn't. We get a move up, we hold this fair value gap, we get another leg up, and then I believe, we had an SMT here, right, with ES and NQ. Let me pull up in ES here so you guys can see. So ES and NQ, ES we had a SMT with the 930 price. So right here we had 939, and you can see we swept out the high of day intraday. 939 is here. Here you can see we did not sweep that high. Also, we ended up sweeping this 9 o'clock high, which is here. We did not sweep. So ES had a lot of bearish SMT. We end up having another SMT at 1010 and 1017. So that's just something to keep in mind. 1017. 1017. So we had an SMT here as well, which I'll just draw in to highlight the point. We had an SMT there, and then we started the sell-off. We were in a 15-minute fair value gap here, and what did we also do? We also respected the equilibrium of this leg down. We were in equilibrium, and then we sold off. So price was moving pretty good. On the 15-second, this is a pretty clean it's actually a pretty clean little model here inside a model. We sweep the low with an SMT. We inverse this bearish imbalance. We displace higher. We come down. We fail to take out the high here. We hold the imbalance and we swing out the high. We come back down. We turtle soup this low inside a fair value gap. We displace through this fair value gap. We displace higher and we hold bullish order flow. Again, that has nothing to do with taking trades. It's just something that I observed and read price on, right? I was just watching price at this time. As you can see, there was no clear setup to go take any trades. This just gave me a context in the market, right? That's all you're doing when you're reading price, just getting context of the market. You don't have to always know where price is going. You don't have to always have a reason for price doing whatever it does. Just try and sit there and read into the chart and see what's happening, and then you can conform confluence. We also reject off of this 5-minute order block inside the bearish imbalance. As you can see, we respect that pretty well, and then we end up selling more. So we then get a big sell-off right after this takes place. On paper, I actually took this trade here. I took a few trades on paper, but this is the one that ended up working. I took a few stabs at shorts, trying to get this move, but this was the one that ended up working. We closed below. It's a bad fair value gap. That's why I didn't take it on my eval. And then we hit the low 39 points. We had a break-even point right here. But yeah, we took a few attempts at shorts. I think we took a 2-minute here. That didn't work, but again, all on paper. Just reading the context of the market, and that put us up on that. We end up sweeping out the low, and we continuously dump. So we just keep dumping, and we get a big sell-off, pretty much like a 150-point move straight down. We end up taking this low, and then we end up actually having another low here that we end up sweeping. And this is when I actually get my trade. And then we can obviously go over the trade I took. So then we end up sweeping this low out right here. We take out the low, and I'm now just thinking, okay, I was looking at this fair value gap as a nice area because this high is actually a 5-minute bearish fair value gap right here, this gap right here. I was expecting us to at least rebalance here. And why was I expecting that? Because we just sold off 200 points straight down. No green candles really besides a small one on the 5-minute. I'm expecting us to at least come back to equilibrium of this range. So live time, when we put in this fair value gap, again, remember this red line is the 5-minute gap to the downside. When we put in this fair value gap, it's relatively singular. The 2-minute was singular here, so if you really need the singular fair value gap because you watch Dodgy and take everything he says as gospel, right? We had a singular fair value gap on the 2-minute. So regardless, we have the basis covered. Also, again, even if we went lower, which we did, I went against the trend of the day. I went against my higher time frame bias. The reason I was confident doing that is because I know more than likely price will have to rebalance from this move down, from this swing high here to this swing low, or you can even be more safe and draw from this high to this low. But let's just say you take the 15-minute move. I was very confident that we had the retrace to equilibrium, at least this 5-minute to then continue lower. Why is that? We swept major sell side over to the left of us from all the way over here, so that's going to genuinely give it, or generally give a reaction in the market, right? What else do we have? We're not just longing down here, right? I have no idea we're going to reverse here. What do we get? we get a momentum candle through a gap. We have a very clear break even and target, and we can target equilibrium. All right, so dropping down, I was looking at the 15-second this time, and I was actually thinking about taking this 15-second trade, which would have worked out good. You could have got in here long. You could have jumped in position here and just target this 54 points, or if you target that 70 points, you had a decent stop loss, and you could have gone break even at this little internal high, which might be a little bit, hindsight might be a little bit quick. The reason I didn't take this is because I don't have much experience executing on the 15-second, right? It's a great setup. We had an SMT, so this low was taken out by ES and Q wasn't, which gave me more reason to just be calm and wait for this 1 minute gap to break, because I knew if the 1 minute gap broke, we were going to be clear to go, and why jump the gun on this 15-second when we could just build more structure. So I knew that with this breaking, with this SMT, it gave me a lot of confluence to go into the trade. And I'll pull up the execution, the actual video of my execution in a second, because now that we're back, we actually have our trades recorded again, which is nice. So this trade ended up being about a 30-point stop loss, and I ended up only actually getting 24 points, and we'll go over that. I took 7 micros, and we'll go over why obviously I could have done better. I could have targeted the equilibrium point, which was my original target, and I'll pull up the execution. But that's why we took the trade. The SMT, the 15-second, the 1 minute, we've been dumping. And again, the market doesn't have to go to a 5 minute fair value gap to continue going lower. It doesn't have to go to equilibrium. But market experience will tell you, and watching the markets, that the market's not going to keep dumping from here. We hit major sell side, right? If we did this exact same thing, but major sell side was right down here, I probably wouldn't like the trade as much, right? But that wasn't the case. We hit sell side. We had dropped 215 points. A retracement is kind of expected. Again, it's not always guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. These strategies aren't going to work 100% of the time. It's just context, good risk management, and being confident in what you're doing, right? What do we end up actually doing here? We end up retracing to a 5 minute fair value gap right here. This 5 minute gap, equilibrium. What do? We displace lower, right? With this fair value gap, we displace. Here we hold the 1 minute bearish, and then maybe we drop down lower. We hold the 1 minute bearish, we displace again, and we have a 30-second that we hold and we respect, and we continue to sell off, right? If you were bearish, you could have found trades in here to the downside. If you trade fair value gap taps, stuff like that, whatever you trade, right? And you could have found a great trade in here. Maybe you zoomed in on the 30-second and this was your short. You would have made a lot more points than me. But that's, again, that's not really what matters. It's not really about that. You have a really good risk on this trade, and you have a good target, 94 points. Wow, great day, right? But it's all about your system, your strategy, following a plan. It does not matter how you're trading. This is just the trade I ended up taking, right? So I'll pull up the execution right now. And yeah, we'll watch that, and I'll go over what I was doing and kind of how I messed that up. So this is my main target going to tomorrow, is these equal highs right here, or the rest of the day if I continue looking at the charts. Probably won't, just because there's not really much for me to do on these charts right now. So here we go. We're going to minimize this, and now we're gonna pull up our execution, which is I think it's this one. Yep. Oh, it's only a minute trade. Wow. Okay. So this was the trade, and as you can see, we get in. We got into the trade. We put our take profit at the equilibrium point, which I drew the equilibrium from a lower leg, but it was what it was, and it should have been $500. Again, you guys know I only made $330. And I didn't draw on a stop loss because I was not really sure. I was just going to manually close. But as you can see, the trade went really without much hesitation, and I really regret, you'll see what I do here next. I end up moving my take profit to that high to just kind of see. I move it away, and I put it back, and I should have just left it here. But I got a little antsy, and honestly, I don't even want to say that it was a mistake or I don't want to say that it was because I was just checking to see how much price it would be. I knew exactly how much it would be. I just moved it because I was nervous in the trade. And again, there's really nothing wrong with that trade, with making $330. But why was I moving? I had a plan and I didn't fully hold, right? Again, I didn't get out early for $200 because I was scared it was going to reverse, but I did tailor my stop or my whatever, and I missed out on an extra $170, which again, I don't really care about the money, but that would have put our account up more. We've been closer to our goal. That would have covered more of a loss, right? Next time we lose, it would have been more. It would have been $100 more than our risk. So that's always good. And we just sell ourselves short on a great move and a great trade. And when you're doing one trade a day, you're trying to only take the best setups. You know, you don't want to ever sell yourself short on any trade and cut your profits by $170, right? You don't want to do that because it's just not it's not always going to be the best long term, right? So that was the mistake I made today. That was just me being honestly just nervous in the trade. I'm just going to be completely honest. But at least we didn't get out really early. We didn't just move our stuff to break even right when it went up $100. And we relatively followed our plan. We took one trade. We executed an A+ setup. We did it with conviction, and we held to our one target, and we stopped for the day. So very, very good day overall. Very happy with how things went. And yeah, now we're getting closer to passing funded. Again, I really, really believe this is the month within the next 30 days I'm passing this funded. But again, I'm up $900 on the funded, but that doesn't mean anything to me because I could come in tomorrow and lose. I could come in tomorrow and make more, right? It means absolutely nothing, right? And I have to desensitize myself to the number because $924 on a funded used to take me a long time because I traded smaller size, right? It used to be harder for me to do because I wasn't as consistent. It used to be hard for me to hit $300 days because I used to, again, trade smaller size and get out of trades early. So there's a lot of factors to the increase in my profitability and doing better. So I can't worry about $900. I can't worry about anything. I have to just worry about the process, and that's what I did today, was just follow my process, follow my trade, and we got rewarded, right? That was a great trade. We've had good trades this week, but we're still making a few mistakes that are holding us back from really capitalizing on what we could make, and that's fine, right? We're getting there, and we'll continue getting better every single day. If anyone listened to the psychology I was talking about yesterday, then you guys understand kind of where my headspace is at. But again, I'm trying to desensitize my nerves. I used to be a lot more nervous coming into trading days. Now I'm really confident with what I'm looking at, and I know what my edge is, and I just need to keep doing what I'm doing, and I get less and less nervous every day. Like, right, I show up into the day not wanting to force things, not wanting to break my rules, not wanting to do bad things, and it's, it can sometimes be a little bit nerve-wracking or a little bit scary coming into the day, but every day that I show up, I get less and less nervous. It's kind of like if you guys played sports, when you have a big game or just a game in general, you have a little bit of those nerves. So trading's kind of like, feels like a little game, or something like that, where you're stepping out and you're having to perform, and you get a little bit of those nerves, right? But you don't have nerves after your 100,000th game. You don't have nerves. You get less and less nervous over time. So I get less and less nervous. I trust myself a lot more. Every day I'm building more trust in my strategy, more trust in what I'm seeing, more trust in my patience, more trust in my holding trades, and eventually we will get there. I promise. It is a long journey. It's hard, but we will get there. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we end the week strong and follow our rules. So peace out. Hope you guys have a great day.